What's up, Ranger Nation? It is your boy JB, and we are finally back with the second half of season 2 of Power Rangers Beast Morphers. This is episode 10, titled The Evox Snare. So, you guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and just get into this episode review, shall we? Alright, you guys, so the episode, we are at Grid Battle Force, and Commander Shaw, she's talking to the people of Coral Harbor. She's letting them know that, they know about Evox and what his plans have been. So what they're going to do now is they're going to shut down all of the towers that have Morph X. They're going to shut them down, and they're going to go back to their old system, which we don't know what that was, but they're shutting everything down at this point. So then, we see that Commander Shaw and Ravi and Devin go and meet with Steel, Zoe, and Nate. So Nate is saying that we know that Evox has been pretending to be the mayor for months now. And also with Evox doing that, we know that Evox's body is being corrupted by the human DNA. So he's now reliant on Morphex energy. So they think that, at a certain point, Evox is going to have to come out himself and try to get some of the Morphex energy once he realizes that the city supply is gone. So then once he does realize that the city supply is gone, what they'll do is they've created a new weapon using the blaster and the Beast's King bow. I can't remember if that's the exact name of that. And I was just watching the episode and I wasn't paying too much attention, but they have a hyper freeze arrow. So what'll happen with the hyper freeze arrow, they'll shoot it at Evox, and it'll freeze him in place so he won't be able to break out or anything. So then Devin says, well, how will we separate my dad at that point? And Nate says, well, honestly, Devin, I really don't know how we'll be able to free your dad, and I don't know how long it'll take to free your dad. Now, I do understand where Devin's plight is. He's worried about his father, so I definitely, understand that. But Devin is like, you know what? Don't worry about it, Nate. I'm going to find a way. I'm like, okay. You're going to find a way. I love the effort that he's putting forward to find his dad at whatever cost. So let's move on, you guys. All right, you guys. So then over in the cyber dimension, Scrozzle. Now Scrozzle is watching, the message that Commander Shaw put out about the fact that they're going to shut down all of the Morphex towers, and that there's pretty much no Morphex for Evox. So Evox is in a bit of a sticky situation at this point. And so what Evox decided that he's going to do is he's going to send Blaze and Roxy to go get the Morphex. And I'm thinking to myself at this point, Blaze and Roxy, especially Cyber Blaze and Cyber Roxy, they're not as good as the original Blaze and Roxy to me. I feel like Cyber Blaze and Cyber Roxy fail more than the originals ever did. But nonetheless, Evox is sending them to go get the Morphex energy before it's all gone. Now, over at Grid Battle Force, Devin, he's going through the Ranger archives, and Cruz has brought him some more archives. And then as Cruz is exiting the room that Devin is in, Ravi walks by, and Ravi goes in and asks Devin, has he found anything? He said, well, I did find some information from another Ranger team where one of the Rangers was being turned into a cyborg, and the lead scientist figured out a way to kind of stop that. And the Ranger that he's talking about, and the team he's talking about is the RPM team. He's talking about Dylan and Dr. K. But there is a difference between Dylan and Evox and the mayor. There's a big difference between those two. Dylan was, implanted with the Vengeance virus, and he was slowly morphing into a cyborg. Mayor Daniels and Evox are one and the same person, kind of like from let's think of everybody in Power Rangers history that has been one and the same body. Dino Thunder, Mesagog and Anton Mercer were the same person. Xenowing and Doomwing were the same person. Who else? You guys gotta help me out here. Oh, here's another one that was the same person, but they were in the same body, but we never even saw it. Magnet Defender and Mike were in the same body, but we never knew it until the season finale of Lost Galaxy. Merrick and kind of like Merrick and Zanaku, they were in the same. Technically, actually, they were the same person. That's because Merrick was wearing the mask of Zanaku. So yeah, there's a lot of. I mean, so I think Devin could have done a little bit. I mean, it was good that he reached out to Dr. K because of Dylan turning into a cyborg, but the situations are completely different, and we'll discuss that in just a little bit. So he did say that he reached out to Dr. K, but he hasn't gotten a response. It's been like a decade since anybody has heard from her. I'm like, oh, a decade. It's been 10 years since their season, so that's the last time anybody has heard from Dr. K. It has been, well, this year is actually, this is 2020. This year's actually 11 years, but when they filmed this, it was 10 years ago. But let's move on, you guys. All right, you guys. So then we do see that the Rangers have set up a trap for Evox. So the trap is that they're gonna, use one of the tanks to make Evox think that they're transporting some Morphex energy. And like I said earlier, Evox, he sent Blaze and Roxy to, actually, he sent Blaze and Roxy, but first a Robotron materialized, and his name was Bulldozertron. So the Rangers, they morph and battle with Bulldozertron. And while they're battling with Bulldozertron, Nate notices that, Blaze and Roxy, as well as some Tronics, have materialized as well. So Nate and Steel go and battle with Blaze and Roxy and the Tronics. And then leaving Devin, Zoe, and Robbie to battle with Bulldozertron. So we noticed that, both Zoe and Devin defeat Bulldozertron, and then on the other end, Nate and Steel are still battling with Blaze and Roxy and the Tronics. Now, Blaze and Roxy and the Tronics do take, the tank, and then Steel blows it up. So then Commander Shaw shows up, and she tells the Rangers, like, hey, at Tower 5, we weren't able to drain all of the Morphex energy. And they were like, well, we need to get over there fast. So Commander Shaw's like, no, what we're gonna do is we're gonna leave it as is, unarmed and unguarded and everything. So on the other side, Scrozzle is eavesdropping and listening to everything that they're saying, not knowing that this is part of their plan, that this is a trap. Because I was sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, oh no, Scrozzle is listening. So they're gonna get to the Morphex energy and they're not gonna even know anything about it. But Zoe was on top of the truck eavesdropping on Scrozzle, eavesdropping on them, and she tells them Scrozzle took the bait, hook, line, and sinker. So then they get a message from I don't know what the young lady's name is that that talks to them, but she called them and told them that a Gigadrone is materializing near Tower 5, and also they have a trans-dimensional message from someone named Dr. K. So they all head back to Grid Battle Force, and we're going to pause here. Well, actually, guys, I said it wrong. So the other Rangers, they did a new Zora combination, and they went to battle, the Gigadrone, and they destroyed the Gigadrone. Now back at Grid Battle Force, yeah, they went to battle the Gigadrone. And back at Grid Battle Force, Devin was talking to Dr. K. It was so cool. I was so happy to see Dr. K when I saw him. I'm like, Dr. K, that's my girl. So she tells him, and we know how Dr. K is. She speaks in, her language that only she understands. And you have to tell, like, Dr. K, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, bring that down in layman's terms. Break that down in layman's terms for me. So she did tell him, like, my technology can help your dad, because this is a different situation from what Dylan was going through and what your dad is going through. Your dad and Evox are in the same body. Dylan was not in the same body with a robot. He was being turned into one. But she says, you know what? I do remember there was another Ranger team that I read about that used split emitters to split one of their team members. And she was talking about the Dino Charge Rangers when they use the split emitters to, separate Xenowing and Doomwing in Power Rangers Dino Charge. I might have said that twice. So then we see the others. So they're getting ready to go and, set up this final trap for Evox. And Commander Shaw calls them and asks them, like, why have you guys not left? So then Devin, he asked Nate about the Ranger Vault. Does he know, he asked him about the split emitters. If they're in the Ranger Vault, Nate says he's not sure, but he does say that if they are in there, they're probably dead, and he gives them some more Morphex energy to power them. So then, Ben and Betty come by, which you guys, I have omitted them. I don't want to talk about Ben and Betty because they weren't important to this episode to me, so we're going to leave them out. So we do see that Ben and Betty and Devin are in the vault, and the Ranger archives. Oh my God, I forget what they said what the name of the blaster was for the Dino Thunder Rangers. Thundermax blaster. I saw the Power Blaster. I saw the swords from Ninja Steel. I was like, oh my God, like that is so cool. But they did find them. So let's stop right here and move forward, okay? All right, you guys, and then this is actually going to be the close of the episode. So we see the Rangers. So the Rangers are outside of Grid Battle Force, and they're waiting for Evox to show up. So Evox does show up, and Nate, he has the blaster and the Hyper Freeze arrow ready for Evox. So when Evox does come, Nate blasts, shoots it. Evox, he stops it, and he sends it back to them. And I'm like, oh no, this plane is not going to work. So then Devin comes out, and Evox morphs back into Mayor Daniels. And, Mayor Daniels is telling Devin, let me in, let me get this Morphex energy, because if Evox doesn't get it, that's going to hurt both me and him. So, he lets Mayor Daniels pass, and, Zoe then was like, Devin, don't listen. That is Evox talking to you. That is not your dad. That is Evox trying to use you. So Devin lets him pass, and then he gets a call from, Ben saying that the split emitters have been charged. So Devin, he says, he transports the split emitters, and, Mayor Daniels like, well, what's going on? And when he transports the split emitters, he turns it on, and miraculously, he does, separate Mayor Daniels and Evox. So now they are back to being, separate entities. Mayor Daniels is Mayor Daniels, and Evox is Evox. So Evox and Skrulls will return back to the cyber dimension. So then we see we see the towers powering back up, and Commander Shaw is telling everyone that all is good in the city. So they're going to power up the towers. And Nate tells them that there's no sign of the Evox virus in the in the systems. So for now they're good. So then they ask Mayor Daniels, what does he remember about his time being with Evox? So we find out that Mayor Daniels actually doesn't remember anything. The last thing Mayor Daniels actually remembers is from the finale episode when, was that the finale? Yeah, the finale episode when they came back from the cyber dimension, when his hand, started turning purple. That's the last thing that Mayor Daniels was remember. So he doesn't know anything. Wow. So Evox was taking over his mind as well. Interesting enough. That's very interesting. But you guys, that is going to wrap it up for this episode of Power Rangers Beast Morphers Ranger Nation. Let me know what you guys thought about the episode. Now I know quite a few people have already saw the episodes months ago, but this is my first time seeing it. I did enjoy the episode. I definitely enjoyed seeing Dr. K. I 100% enjoyed seeing the Ranger archives. Man, it was more phenomenal. But you guys, like I said, that is it for me. I'll see you guys again next week for the next episode of Power Rangers Beast Morphers. Let me know in the comment section, how many episodes do we have before we get to Grid Connection, the crossover episode? All right, Ranger Nation, stay safe, you guys. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Take care of yourselves. Stay hydrated. Stay warm or cool, whatever the weather is in your area. And until the next one, you guys. Bye.